This is your man KJ from Queens with the Lovable Asshole Podcast. And I hope that grabbed your attention right away. As you're wondering, what in the hell is a lovable asshole? Well, that is me. Just somebody that wants to bring the unfiltered, uncensored, I keep it light with the cursing, and just, honest truth. I want to be the last person that actually just gives it to you straight. Like Method Man said, when you give it to me, yay, give it to me raw. And that's what we try to do here, and just have a little fun. Also, get deeper into topics or things that's going on in society, and mainly want to graduate to a point to where, as my audience grows, I want to really, tackle audience, issues, concerns, stories, relationships, success, life, and then give my honest feedback. All with the hopes that you like my opinions, because again, I'm just going to give it to you straight. That doesn't mean that I'm always right. It doesn't mean that I'm always wrong. But what it does mean is that, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be honest. Keep it 100, a buck, all of that stuff. And why? Well, why? Because I wanted to. Because honestly, I've been somebody that's been giving advice to friends and families and co-workers alike for a long, long time. People do view me as somebody that they can, go to and get a pretty straightforward answer. Right? Love to make sure I don't hurt people's feelings necessarily. I'm not that type. I'm not brash and just doing it to, be negative. I'm always looking for the positive slant, unless there isn't one. And then I'm going to say, well, that's not going to work. Either way, it's all done out of love. And that's why people have felt comfortable over my lifetime, talking with me. Advice. Sometimes they don't even want to talk to me because they know I'm going to give it to them really, really honest. But at the end of the day, people respect that. And I just want to be one of the few people out here that just, talk straight. I don't have, any scripts. This is unfiltered, unscripted. I don't have any agenda other than letting my voice be heard. Hopefully people, gravitate towards it, love it. Some will hate it. Well, hopefully I'm interested enough to listen to. And, for us, just as a community that I'm trying to build, for us to grow together. Right? So that sometimes what I've realized as I've, gotten older, you can tell by the grace, you never know what people are going through, what people think, and you'd be very surprised that there are people that think like you, that would love to be more outspoken, would love to, step up and advocate for themselves or others, or simply just share their thoughts, whether it's, frustration, anger, positivity, happiness, love, whatever the case may be, but they're just not, maybe they're afraid to do so. Maybe the pressures of family, the pressures of, their profession, but just society overall, and that keeps them and their opinions locked in the closet somewhere. And that's where I come in, because I've, experienced that quite a while too. Family has stopped me from saying a lot of shit that I would say, all right? Trying to uphold a certain standard or make sure that I protect the family name. But at the end of the day, you have to have your own journey to walk. I truly believe that. So that's what we're on. We're on this journey, and we're on this journey together. Right? Want to keep things, very interesting. Again, honest, unfiltered, funny, all right? And dead serious, all at the same time. I want my audience members to be able to share what's on their mind, seek some honest feedback. All right? Sometimes we'll delve into, popular, topics or just things that I find interesting in the news, and we'll expand on it. All right? As long as it relates to the audience, and I'll never get too far left or far right. I don't do labels, right? I try not to go too much into politics or even delve into politics at all. But when you deal with societal issues, you're probably, going to dip your toe into it, and that's fine. But I don't do labels. I'm nobody's liberal. I'm nobody's conservative. I'm me. I'm a free thinker. And that's the beauty of it. I sometimes things that I believe in or say may sound conservative. Sometimes things I believe in or say may sound liberal. It all depends on, what the issue is, how I feel about it, things that have shaped my life, my upbringing. And I'll bring that to our audience and, see who can relate, who doesn't relate, who wants to learn more. And more importantly, I want to learn. That's why I'll always invite anyone, shoot me an email, info@thelovablepodcast.com. Definitely let me know what's on your mind. Maybe we talk about it in the next episode, or maybe you have an interesting story and you want some, advice on that, and I'll share that again on a later episode. So that'd be, great, awesome, all of that. The way I look at things, I know there's a lot of content out there, right? A lot of people vying for attention. Well, the way I see it is that there's someone for everyone, right? Somebody for everybody. And hopefully I'm that somebody that, you can vibe with, that you can find interesting, that you can, take your time out of your day, out of your struggles, out of your busy schedule, or just your leisure time, and sit down, listen. Hopefully you learn something new, or learn something new about yourself, or just to see things from someone else's perspective, to get a, just a clear understanding of something that you never thought about before. And that's where I'm in. So I was social media the last couple of days, and there's this video circulating with Tracy Morgan. I don't know if he was leaving an event, and there was, quite a crowd outside of a venue, and on his way to his vehicle, there was a guy who he recognized, right away. And, the guy was pretty much asking him for help, or, a handout, or money. And Tracy Morgan went on to say, I'm paraphrasing here, like, I remember you. You used to bully me back in the day. And then the guy, proceeds to say, hey, man, I'm homeless. And Tracy Morgan pretty much just dismissed him, saying that's not, it's not his concern. He's a grown man. He takes care of his kids. So, it's not his concern. It's been kind of a, lightning rod topic. And, some people think that Tracy was, a little too harsh on the man, especially since the man admitted that he was homeless. Some view it as, a comeuppance for that man because he treated, Tracy according to what Tracy said, either bullied him or, treated him bad in their youth. And now looking for a handout, he's like, nah, I'm not doing that shit. Way I see it, you have to be careful how you treat people on your way up or wherever you are in life. Best advice, treat people the way you want to be treated no matter where you are. Because that ladder goes both ways, right? You can go up a ladder and you can come down a ladder. Sometimes the ladder gets thrown off the goddamn roof and you just drop, a dead drop. And not even able to walk it back down. So I think this is a classic case of do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Because here's this man, and again, this is all speculation from the video, but one things that we know for certain was that Tracy recognized the man. That man pretty much let me know that he knew Tracy. So there is some history there. I think we can, conclude concretely that there is some history. And we don't have to speculate on that point, but we don't know the story. Who, what he did or what was perceived as, a slight by Tracy Morgan. Whatever the case may be, they had some history, and obviously it's not all positive, at least from Tracy's standpoint. But it is the old adage, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's a valuable life lesson. Because even for me, especially spent over 20 years in corporate America. And you'd be amazed at the bridges that are burnt in those professional settings in industries. And you have to be careful with that because who you manage or who you had a senior position over in one company, they may be the decision maker, the manager, or have a senior position in another company. And I've seen it where people, I don't even say abuse their title, but they they abused their titles. They were unfair, maybe ultra demanding of some and not ultra demanding of others, to cause that type of dissension within an office or a team. And those that have worked in corporate America know that you have corporate snitches. Those that run and tell upper management, everything. When this person came in late, or they didn't come back from lunch, or, just petty, stupid stuff. But they do that to gain an advantage, feeling that they can secure their position within the company or the team by gossiping. Let's call it what it is. Snitches, gossiping, foolishness. And I've seen those people who thought they had it, thought they played the game, thought the brown nosing was going to lead to something long term. And those people, just like anyone else, when you don't own it, you can lose your job for whatever reasons. whether it's performance based, whether it's just company decisions to downsize, whatever the case may be. And now, when you're looking for jobs, especially over the last 20 years, one of the first things you do, you hopped on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, there goes KJ. I worked with him. Let me send him a note. Oh, he's the director of such and such, or senior manager of ABC, corporation. That would be a great in. That would be, great networking opportunity to see if there are jobs available. How did you treat KJ at your last job? Were you the department snitch? Were you a manager that played favorites? Were you a supervisor that, blocked your subordinates from certain positions or advancing or pay raises? Tides turn quickly, and if you're not careful, the wave will hit your ass. So I understand, Tracy, and even more because that's street beef. And myself, I grew up in Jamaica, Queens, born and raised. I understand that even more. So from a street level, you could be the get money ninja. You could be the dude, do hustling, whatever. It's drugs, it's stick ups, it's, scams. Or maybe, you just, at that time you were up, right? It could be you were up because you played ball. Could be up because you were in the music industry. Or maybe you just, had a nice ass job or used to work, really hard, which is fine, and made more money than most of the people in your neighborhood as far as people your age. And through that, you use that little bit of money or influence as a weapon against those that you thought were, less than or not getting it like you. You might have even been jealous of those people. So you use a little bit of money and stature to, take out your jealousy in a negative way on people that you probably saw their talent, saw that they really had that it, but they just didn't have, the same resources that you had at the time. So that's an old story. Trust me, I know it. I know, dudes on the block that was getting it. All right. Probably was treating you like a little shorty around the way. And when they stopped getting it, all right, and you worked your way up just by working hard and just by, staying creative and enterprising in whatever endeavors you chose. Yeah, them same dudes is on the corner, but they no longer on the corner getting money. They're on the corner begging. You can take a super high road and say, well, you're up now. You're blessed to be up now. Let me go ahead and, even though this person didn't treat me, well, but I see that they're down. And let me give them a handout. Or you realize that you carry that chip on your shoulder from how that same person treated you, and you give them a bit of advice. Kick rocks. Get out of my face. I don't care. Me? Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with the latter, right? Because I try to treat people from all walks of life with respect. I don't have to like everybody. And matter of fact, as we go along this journey, you probably learn I don't like most people. But I'm always going to extend respect as long as respect is extended back. But moment you disrespect me or you try to disadvantage me or hurt me or my family, I'm not the forgiving type. I say pray to whoever you pray to and hope that they forgive you. It's not my job to forgive you. I believe in balance, something that we'll talk about on this journey many, many times. I believe in balance at all costs. The laws of Ma'at. Balance. So you do me wrong, that doesn't mean I'm going to do you wrong. But I'm not extending that olive branch to you. There's some things that you can't come back from. You know, we all have friends that may have made mistakes, may have done something that hurt you once, and depending on how strong your friendship and how much experiences that you've shared, and have they had your back, have you had their back for a long time, yeah, you can excuse a mistake. You can excuse poor judgment that may have impacted you negatively, even if that person didn't, aim to hurt you, but their judgment was off and they ended up, hurting you anyway. You can forgive that. Family probably can hurt you the most. Again, maybe poor judgment, maybe intent, maybe just selfishness, and not fully realizing how a selfish act can impact you negatively. Sure, you can forgive. But there are things that you cannot forgive, and especially if you were never truly a friend, and especially if you're not family or especially close family, trust me, you don't need to. We don't need to make up. Now, I don't believe in too much retribution. That's safe for extreme cases, and again, that's when somebody's intentionally hurting you or your family. All right, I don't believe in that turn the other cheek shit. You save that for Sunday school. I don't do that. But I also don't believe in, things don't have to be tit for tat. Sometimes you let time and karma sort people out. And I think that's what happened with that Tracy Morgan incident. While some, I guess, argue that, he could have shown more benevolence and forgiving and seeing the man's situation and look past those previous transgressions. But like I said before, there's a comeuppance. Maybe that guy just needed a reminder of how he used to treat people. Because see, now he's not up. Now he's in no position to be the bully. Now he's looking at people that he may have been jealous of Tracy back in the day. Again, I don't know. But these are not new stories in life. They're as old as time. Maybe he was envious. Maybe he saw the potential then and, instead of lending a hand to help that brother up, he wanted to put him down. So now you ain't up, bro. Especially when you're going out there as a grown-ass man, and Tracy Morgan is in his 50s, so let's assume that this man is at least in his 50s. You ain't up no more, brother. And for you to be in your position, I don't know what happened to him. This is all, again, speculation from my part. We don't know what happened to him, right? And life could have really dealt him a shitty hand. But that reaction from Tracy was telling, right? And the fact that he remembered what he did to him should probably tell us that, at the very least, it was something that, hurt him or was truly, disrespectful to him at a time when they were younger. And I guess, Tracy Morgan obviously wasn't, a household name at that point in his life. So, bro, I'm not going to wish any further bad on you. I'm not going to try to do things to bring even more negativity to your situation. But I am not forgiving or forgetting what you did to me. You're going to have to eat that. That L, you're going to have to eat that, bro. And that's just life. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's as old as time. So I say that to say, one of the things we'll do here at the Lovable Asshole Podcast, we may talk about things that bother us. We may discuss topics that aren't always comfortable. But at least from my standpoint, man, KJ from Queens, always going to try to find a positive outcome to whatever it is. Try to give some advice that leads to a positive outcome. Right? We have to deal with so much stuff, especially as adults, every day, and even kids, because these kids deal with different challenges. We'll probably have episodes where we focus more on the youth. As an OG, as an unk, I have my opinions and my views on the younger generations, but we do have to remember we were all young. We were the younger generation that our parents and grandparents looked at like, what the hell are these kids? So I understand, I get it. But they do face some different challenges than we faced. And like I said, we'll probably talk about that, at another time. But again, you could catch me at info at the Lovable Podcast. I left out the asshole in case you're scared to type that in. But info at the Lovable Podcast.com. I would love to hear from you. I am truly, truly blessed and appreciative. Got a great family. I have held people that truly, I wanted to be able to share my opinions with the world, share my thoughts, impart some knowledge, and more importantly, learn. I want to learn from you. I want people to share their knowledge so that we can, all grow and move through this thing called life with even more wisdom and more understanding and more confidence. So I appreciate it. Whether it's one follower or reach 100 or reach 1 million. Let's see. All right, we're at the starting line. We got a long way to go, but we're going to get there. I promise you that. So please, subscribe, follow, engage. Again, info at thelovablepodcast.com. Let me know your thoughts. Send me your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. This is just episode 1 of many. I'd love to, as the following grows, to make it at least 2 days a week. Maybe every Tuesday, Thursday. I'm not clear on that yet. But my aim is to be consistent. Like I said, now I'm going to upload something every Tuesday to stay consistent. And as this community grows, we'll definitely have more, podcasts, move into, live shows as well. So again, this is just the beginning. And I'm geeked up that you chose to watch this podcast today. And, all blessings due to you. Let the positivity flow. Let the negativity go. You guys have a great day. Thanks.